everything, right? Everyone's constantly saying AI is killing jobs, AI is so negative. Yeah, I just think,
just relax.
Yeah. Just calm down, chill.
I am so fascinated by your work because I don't even want to get... no, first of all, obviously, Seer, Isabel, Bella, Izzy, welcome to the fucking podcast.
Oh, it's actually Isabella.
Isabella?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man.
It's okay.
It's been a long day,
It's not like my real name is anywhere on my DJ site, so...
Yeah, because I managed to... I managed
It's
to,
just like screaming your real name at people at events over really loud music. I still don't know what a lot of people's names are.
Oh my god, it's so classic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone knows anyone's real name. It's so fucking classic. But no, well, thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you coming on straight from work. And tell me more about your work, because I'm instantly fascinated as soon as you said that you do research, because I'm like, that sounds like so much fun, but also exhausting, but also super interesting. So what does your normal day kind of look like as a researcher?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I'm a researcher in education policy. It feels weird talking about it like it's like I live two lives and DJing is so separate, and like coming after work today is very strange. Or like you even seeing me in my work clothes, I feel like it's just
because it's like because you're usually just like out at events, just like kind of drunk, like you said, like just yelling your name at people, just being like, "Hi, what?"
Yeah, my hearing is so bad, and there's only so many times you can say what before it becomes awkward and embarrassing.
God. Don't even fucking get me started. I'm so on that train too. I'm so aggressively on that train. What I've started doing sometimes, it's like my girlfriend, is sometimes if she says something to me and I ask again, I'm like, what? And she says it again, sometimes I just repeat back what I hear, because she might be saying, can you close the door? And I'll just be like, snow in the port? Like, what do you mean? Like, and I'll just say it back, and she's like, what do you fucking think I'm trying to say? I don't know. But no, yeah, my hearing's fucking cocked too.
Yeah, we don't even need the loud music to have bad hearing. Like, it happens at home with my parents all the time.
Yeah, it's so classic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's the day in the life of a researcher, right? Like, such a fascinating world.
I guess it's like a lot of literature reviews and scans, so going on Google Scholar and putting in search strings, or going on LinkedIn and trying to see like all the updates in the sector. So my niche in education policy is like regulating AI and education technology in schools, K-12 schools. And so it's like a very rapidly growing area, and so every day there might be like a new report release, or every few days, every few weeks, and you kind of have to be subscribed to all the right Substacks and LinkedIn, like big names who are making developments in the space, the policy actors, the CEOs of the companies, things like that. And so trying to stay on top of it is a little overwhelming, but trying to... And then once you find those papers, synthesizing them and summarizing them for my supervisor so we can decide, or we can know where our policy can fit in, things like that.
Right. So it's just kind of like collating all the information, and then with your supervisor, bring it together and being like, all right, what do we kind of do with this essentially?
Yeah.
Right, that's really fucking cool. What's like, because you talk about, like, it is very rapidly growing. I mean, I don't think anyone could fucking argue that, right? Like, AI has become such a massive fucking thing. What does it look like when you say that it's kind of rapidly growing for your everyday as someone who is kind of like at the forefront? Like, how many times has there been like a real new like kind of breakthrough in some sort of sense while you're researching? Because you'd be at the kind of the forefront, you'd be on the pulse of trying to figure out what's happening as it's happening.
I mean, it feels like there are breakthroughs every few months. Like,
Oh, I love that.
recently it's actually been the AI podcast, the fact that you can generate an entire podcast from a paper or any text you feed it now. So this is probably AI generated.
Yeah, it's oh fuck! Don't out me like that.
I'm not really here, guys.
No, yeah, I
I
don't
just fed
exist
him some
either.
summary points.
Yeah. That'd be kind of funny. Actually. Oh my god, yeah, that's actually fucking crazy. It's like that's pretty. So what do you do when you have that information? It's like you go through it, you see it, you're like, what the fuck? How does that interrelate then from, there being new AI podcasts to getting integrated into the policies that you're making? What does that kind of streamlined process look like?
Well, for example, the AI podcasts pretty much are not relevant to our little niche of policy, but it's good for us to know generally how some of these new technologies might be integrated into like schools and their curriculums, and will teachers, because teachers, a lot of them make their own class and lesson plans based on the curriculum, and that means a lot of them are going online and learning from other teachers or finding new ways to do things, and that might be creating an AI podcast for their students of curriculum content, and so that's how there might be a link.
Oh, right. I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's also not necessarily the restriction; it's also the integration. That's really fucking interesting. Has there been any times when you've been at the forefront of implementing a new policy?
Well, not really, because we don't work for government. We're just like writing submissions to government or...
Oh, right, so it's more of an independent, like, lobbyist almost.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just like bringing voices together in the education technology space to try and decide on what the policy should be, and then hopefully governments are listening to that.
Right. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. What are your thoughts on AI then? Like, what do you reckon? Like, just give me the rundown of kind of your thoughts, especially like, because I love the AI conversation. I'm always so here to have a hot take and just like talk some shit about AI. I fucking love it. So what do you reckon? Like, how do you feel about the way that AI is going?
I think mostly negative. It's really scary.
Yeah.
And growing up, my dad was super into sci-fi and would make us watch all these movies like Terminator and The Martian and War of the Worlds, and I would just have nightmares. And so that kind of shaped the way I started seeing AI, and then that was like the beginning of it a few years ago, but then I thought it would be really positive, and I was like excited about human development and what it meant for maybe like automating jobs to the point where we could get a universal basic income and we wouldn't have to be slaves every day of our lives. 40 hours a week for the rest of our lives. Like, that idea is really nice if we can get there, but it's really hard to tell what's going to happen. It's just constantly changing, and the fact that it's in the hands of big corporations and governments aren't able to catch up and regulate them properly, and the fact that governments are also invested in those companies doing well for their country's economy just means... Yeah, it's really complex.
I guess it's just like this endless rabbit hole of this bureaucratic loop where it's just like all this bullshit. It's like they probably can't even be passing legislation that was a bill a year ago, but in that year it's like, hey, we're not even fucking worried about that anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we got AI podcasts. That was when ChatGPT came out, right? It's just like, that's not shit anymore, dude. Like, what the fuck?
And everyone's just arguing over the tiniest things of like...
Oh my god, I know.
Like, even with the social media ban, like, everyone's tearing themselves apart, and because everyone's tearing themselves apart, nothing ultimately ends up getting done.
Oh my god. I know. I'm so on that train as well, where it's just like, that's why I find it so interesting with things like, just like the US election. Like, I'll never forget, I was in a pub in Newtown. I was just having a couple of drinks with a mate, and on the wall there's just this poster of like Kamala Harris and Trump with fucking boxing gloves, like at each other, It's like streaming live here, blah 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 blah, and it's just like, what is like what is
It's
happening?
like a UFC fight. Like
Yeah,
the
I
fact that
know.
politics has become.
But then like
like-
everyone's always just like, yeah, no, I'm going. It's like, oh, fuck
Yeah.
you, fuck you, fuck you. It's like, wait, can we? No one cares. It's like no one cares right now what any of you have to say. Can we just like think for a second that iRobot's about to happen, right? It's like, are you serious? Oh Jesus, yeah, that's really fucking interesting. It's just like, it's just such a classic bureaucratic fucking bullshit. What do you reckon about the whole Neuralink thing and the way that maybe not necessarily AI at this point, but technologies get incorporated to a biological thing?
Oh, that is kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
But I also think it feels like we're still, like, everyone's always like, this is going to change everything. And they said that, they've been saying that since the 80s, or like, they had all these predictions of what the 80s would be like and what 2012 would be like, 2020 would be like. And so I feel like it is rapidly changing, but it's not as fast as, I don't know, it's not as like world-ending fast as we think it is. I think we have a tendency to make everything extreme.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's going to be the end of everything. But I think a lot of these changes will be slower paced than we think, or just because something has been invented or is on, like, it will take a while to reach the market, and then even if it's on the market, it will only be available to the richest of the rich.
Yeah.
And finally, when it trickles down to us, it'll be a solid many years from now. And so I guess I used to, like I said, I had a really negative view towards AI before that was mainly fear-based, but that's because when you don't know a lot about something, you tend to fear it. But
100%, yeah.
Yeah, once you better understand, also once you let go of the fact that you have no control over it, then you just have faith that whatever happens and you'll find a way to all you can do is really be present and not be so scared about what's going to happen in the future. And that applies to the election, the politics, the AI. Everyone's like, this is the end of education, this is the end of all creativity and art forms, this is the end of everything, right? Everyone's constantly saying AI is killing jobs, AI is so negative. Yeah, I just think,
just relax.
Yeah. Just calm down, chill.
Yeah. I really identify with you on that as well, because you actually perfectly answered my next question, because I was going to ask you what the relationship between fear and hope kind of looks like for you. Because I feel like that kind of drives everyone. It's like this relationship of, oh, everything's fucked, but then also you got to be hopeful, but then you don't want to be too hopeful because you got to be realistic. But then if you're realistic, you're depressed. So it's like, where's that kind of line? Like, where do you kind of find that?
Yeah.
And I think you touched on it really nicely, where it's just be present and just chill out and just relax and just look at what matters, what's in front of you, what's happening. And don't be ignorant, but don't let it control you. Just relax.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really interesting. I really like that. But I'll take a turn from the AI conversation. I could go on about it forever. I just love it. It's like, it's so funny. Whenever I have this discussion with my brother, I get drunk. Like, we get drunk together, we like drink or whatever. It always comes up. And I always say, I'm just like, just to kind of wind him up a bit, I'll always just be like, Neuralink, sign me up. I'm in. Assimilate or die.
Him?
Yeah, just be like, assimilate or die. I'm in. Fuck it, I'm in. I'll be clicking off advertisements everywhere I go. Every door I go through, I'm just like, fuck, I can't get through as an ad. But by the same token, I remember, I feel like I'm turning into such like a bro dude, because I'm about to reference a Lex Friedman podcast.
I actually don't know who that is.
It's like, okay, think about, you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yeah.
And how like every fucking dude ever just goes like, oh no, Joe Rogan, blah, 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 blah. It's like the equivalent of that, except it's more intellectual, but it's also like every single 18 to 25-year-old dude listens to him and quotes him and goes like, this is a fact, but it's actually just some expert's opinion. So it's like, it's not a fact. It's just a smart guy who thinks that. But they made an interesting point about how it's like AI, it's almost like humanity is like the fetus for the greater species of AI. And it's like an interesting kind of point that like makes you think it's almost like, it's like the point you said where it's like you can't really live in fear. You have to kind of just let yourself be present and just exist.
That is a really weird take on their part.
Because
they're saying humans have no control at all.
Yeah, it's like, it's almost like humans were almost inevitably meant to be. Because it's almost like if you think about like a robot, an AI robot, it's like all the things that drag humans down, like ego, like, all like your racial tendencies, or like just like your fear responses in your brain as humans from all this evolution. AI just don't have it. So it's almost like in a way you could argue that they're just going to be a way better species that can just advance way quicker and just go into the galaxy and just become like an interplanetary species that could be born from humans. I literally said I was going to leave the AI discussion alone. Fuck, here we are.
Now I'm like really thinking about this and I'm like, oh shit, like that's, wow.
It's just like, I guess it's just a classic existential question. But hey, at the end of the day, just relax. So hey, what are you going to do? But I want to take a little left turn, and I want to ask you about, because you really do have a really cool style in terms of DJing. I want to bring it back to music. You have a really cool style with your music, because I think that you're probably one of like the leading like bass house DJs, right? It's like,
yeah, bass house is way too small in Sydney.
It's so fucking small.
I wish it had more of a presence. It's such a fun, like, contagious genre that I think is quite universal.
Yeah.
And I guess, yeah, I think a lot of people don't think it's hard enough, like, in the heavy bass community. But I don't know, there's something so special about it that is just so inherently fun and silly and...
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that, because it's like, it's almost like you have the perfect balance between kind of like the heavy sounds, but like the groove of it too. You know,
and
what
the fast pace.
Yeah, it's fast paced, and then like, if you want to slow it down, you can slow it down.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know what? Oh my God, because I really identify with it, because I absolutely loved like the old school jackknife, like the 100 BPM, like fucking like jackknives, just like slow, and like the res and all that stuff. I fucking love it. Were you always really into bass house? Was that something that got you listening to EDM? Or
no, it was not my entryway into EDM at all. I think I only got into bass house like, I don't know, at the earliest maybe like 5 years ago, or maybe I was listening to it without realizing it was bass house and I thought it was just harder house. But I think my first entry artist into bass house was probably Joyride.
Oh my God,
such
fucking
a sick producer.
Joyride.
Yeah, like the samples he uses are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, so creative. He throws a curveball at you in every single song. You never know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I'm just so jealous. I can't wait to see him live at some point. And he's been doing shows with, I think, is it Habstract?
Oh my God, yeah.
They've been doing like a duo thing, and I would just die to be at one of those shows. Yeah. They're so cool. And I mean, bass house is blowing up all over the US, like Knock 2 and ISO. Like, it's huge over there. I just don't understand why it hasn't really taken off here. Because the heavy bass community loves ISO and Knock 2 as well. But it's just, and we do play them, everyone does play them in their sets. It's just not, there aren't any dedicated bass house events other than Tokyo Saturdays last weekend.
Yeah, so literally. Right? That's like, it's like they just don't exist. Because I am so on that page as well, where I think that the US, oh dude, I love the fucking US. Everyone gives them shit, but their music is the best in terms of like the dubstep, in terms of like the bass
just thrives there.
I know.
Bass,
it's such just like a different thing. I don't know what it is. It's almost like, it kind of feels like people like just still hate the bassline era. Back when like UK bass was just so big and everyone's just like, enough, okay, we're done. Just fucking, we're done, okay? No more 2016 skips this, all right? Just no more, fucking over. So it's like people just hate bass house from that. But I really agree with you that, like, I think because Joyride was one of the first kind of people that got me into EDM. So
Yeah, that's cool.
So
That's
I have like such a little soft spot for bass house because it's like
Yeah.
it is just super underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
What kind of got you into EDM then? What was the transition from what you first kind of listened to getting into bass house?
Okay, let me think back. I think it was probably future bass. I was listening to the softer like melodic drops, and then future bass is always infused with dubstep. And so yeah, I got really into dubstep from that. I love the dichotomy of the soft melodic euphoric sounds against a very, very hard drop. And sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I'm like, keep the beautiful separate.
Yeah.
Like some of those mixes in really hard future bass are quite strange. Like there's this beautiful melodic lead up, and then all of a sudden there's this like ridiculously hard drop, and sometimes I think they take that balance way too far.
Yeah.
But that is how I realized dubstep was a thing. And I think what was the other? Oh, because so I'm from New Zealand. I only moved here 5 to 6 years ago, and
Wow, right.
New Zealand is the home of D&B. So
oh my god, yeah.
D&B was also another of like, yeah, my early EDM genres. And I actually started out hating D&B. I think I still have an Instagram caption on my personal account that's like mocking D&B when I was like really young. Well, I don't know, like 8 years ago now, 9 years ago now.
Yeah.
But yeah, in New Zealand, it's everywhere. And New Zealand takes on a lot more of UK's culture. But we do love our American hip hop and rap to death. That was mainly what I listened to in high school. It was rap and hip hop,
Right.
R&B. But then I got really into EDM closer to end of high school and then uni. Oh, and then I had a hardstyle phase when I moved to Sydney because that was just like such a prominent subculture here.
Oh yeah. So hardstyle is its own beast.
It was a very short-lived phase, though. I can't say I'm a huge fan.
Oh my god, yeah, hardstyle is like its own beast. It's just like you listen to it, but you're like, okay. That's saying something. I listen to fucking dubstep. So it's like, hardstyle. It's like, oh, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really interesting as well that you kind of went against like coming from New Zealand, you went against like the classic D&B kind of style that a lot of people go to in there, like in that whole scene.
Well, the thing is, D&B wasn't super mainstream when I was growing up there. Like, it wasn't what you heard on the radio. It's what's on the radio now. But what was more on the radio was like rap and pop. So D&B only became... I mean, I can't speak for... I'm sure there's Kiwis out there being like, you know nothing. But this is just my very limited experience living in Auckland, which is also different because there's a huge cultural mixing, and we're all like children of immigrants at like my high school and stuff.
Right.
So quite a different experience. We maybe were exposed to different things, but when we did start going to festivals, as soon as we turned 18, like Rhythm and Vines, which is the biggest festival in New Zealand, like they were playing, they started playing D&B, and then now, ever since that, which was like 2016, 2017, 18, it's only D&B, and all the D&B artists would only go to New Zealand. We would get all the biggest, and we still do get all the biggest if you look at the lineups.
Oh, yeah.
The D&B fans in Sydney are like, this is crazy that all these artists are going to New Zealand and just skipping Australia altogether.
Yeah, it's like a whole... I feel like people gun for New Zealand. New Zealand have a whole fucking thing going on.
And the scene is great. I feel so lucky to have grown up in that scene. It's so chill and authentic. The people are social and chatty, similar to our tiny heavy bass community. Everyone's wonderful and so passionate about the music. And so that's why... Yeah, when I came here and got into hardstyle, I was like, no one's talking at these raves, and everyone's standing like 10 meters apart in their tiny groups, and they're dancing like robots, and I feel like it's just not a social event. It's just kind of a drug event, and it's you feel kind of like unease on you just it's just a weird feeling compared to it's like different. The outdoor festivals in New Zealand where I don't know, you can just feel the energy, like everyone's really laid back and
That's so wholesome.
really into the music.
That's so fucking wholesome.
Yeah.
I wish I grew up in New Zealand now. Fuck. What was it like to grow up in New Zealand as opposed to, obviously it's a bit different because you didn't like grow up in Australia, but it's like, what was how was the transition between going from living in New Zealand your whole life to coming to Australia? Like, what was that kind of transitional period for you like? In terms of like things you learned about the different cultures, things you observed about differences. What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was a really challenging process, but in the best way possible. Like, I love being challenged, so that is it's a good thing. I think you grow a lot, and I guess in New Zealand, in a lot of ways I felt really sheltered, and being thrown into a new city, new environment, starting from scratch socially. Because in Sydney at universities, for some reason, everyone already has like a very core high school group.
Oh my fucking God.
Like, I obviously don't. My high school group is back in New Zealand, and I love them, but they're not here. And here at Sydney, everyone else had their own high school groups that they could fall back on, and so uni was kind of more like transactional, surface level relationships, and that was quite difficult for me because I love deeply connecting with other people, and so that was an interesting transition. And at UCID especially, it's well known for having a pretty shit social scene. Navigating that wasn't easy, but at the same time, I have no regrets at all. I did meet some wonderful people, and I'm grateful for everyone I did meet, even if we're not friends now. Like, they've taught me a lot. It's now that I'm out of uni, I'm in my first year of full-time work. I guess I can look back on that whole experience and be like, wow, those were some of the highest highs of my early 20s, but also the lowest lows.
Yeah.
And I think you go into uni thinking it's going to be like the US college experience you see on TV growing up. And you all live together in dorms, and you go to parties, and you just come home from classes and your mates are all there in one room, and it's your whole life. College is your whole life. But at UCID, and I think all universities across Australia, the culture is just very different. And you come to class, you go home, and a lot of the times people don't even socialize during the day, or you'll talk to someone in tutorials and you'll never speak to them again. It's
really, I'm glad you touched on that, because it is such a thing that you notice. Like, I know a lot of people, especially like mates I've had from like school, and even like my girlfriend now, she, because we met in Canberra, I went to uni in Canberra, so I mean, I was in the same kind of boat. I went to like college in Canberra, and you're just like, fuck yeah. It's a bit different in Canberra because nobody in Canberra lives in Canberra. Is from Canberra. I mean, everyone lives in Canberra.
And it's so small.
Yeah, and it's so small that it is like a bit more packed in, but. Like in Sydney, because we met down there, we're back in Sydney now, and she's obviously new to Sydney. She doesn't really know what's going on, and it's like so cliquey. Like she gets that real kind of feel like everyone's got their mates from school. I don't know you. Like, what the fuck? No, fucking, what is that?
And people like friendly, but in a way that you'll never see them again.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, that there's nothing beyond the surface level niceties.
Yeah, and it's very hard to kind of like actively find people who like want to make new friends. Yeah. It's really weird. It's really rare. And that is something that's super wholesome about, like, and by the sounds of it, New Zealand as well, about like the fun of like bass communities that like people are just like nice, and like it's easy to bond with people over something. It's just like, I mean, I've said it a million times, it's just like, oh, you like bass music? I like bass music. Done. It's like so much easier. But yeah, that's really crazy. So I mean, would you say that that's one of the biggest cultural differences you found between coming to Australia and New Zealand?
Yeah, maybe that was one. And then what else? All I can think of is like the stupid stuff, like you guys put O's on the end of everything, like Arvo or Servo. And you guys call them flip-flops, not jandals.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Do you call them jandals?
Yeah.
Whoa, hold on. Whoa, jandals. That's crazy. Why does everyone have different? No, we call them thongs.
Thongs. Oh yeah.
Because I know that's a confusion. Because I went to the US with because both our parents are from the US. They live over here, but our grandparents are over there. We went over there, and I said that to someone. I was like, "Oh, do you guys have any thongs?" And they were just
It
like,
sounds so inappropriate.
"Yeah." They were just like, "Excuse me,
Yeah.
dude. They're like, what are you saying to me right now?" I was like, "No, fuck no. Flip flops."
Yeah, I don't know why Australia is the only country who chooses to call them that. It's so
I don't know.
strange.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. You know what else? Something else that really confused the fuck out of me is when British people called gumboots. They call them wellies. What do you guys call
yeah.
them?
No, we call them gumboots.
Nice.
I
Fuck
think-
yeah.
I mean, wellies would still be somewhat like people would know what you're talking about. They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be out of context. Oh, one of the other major cultural differences I immediately noticed was the way you treat your Aboriginal people is just awful. Like
Yeah.
coming from a country where, I mean, New Zealand still has a long way to go, but compared to you guys, we have more of our shit together.
Yeah.
And I just could not believe. I remember one of the first times I visited Sydney, this was like maybe 2015, 2016, and I saw a sign on a bus saying like, don't be racist if an Aboriginal person is sitting next to you. And I was like, the fact that there has to be a sign about that is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then coming and living here and seeing the acknowledgements of country, just like, it was so obscure to me, and it's still quite obscure to me that all the little like tokenistic things that are sprinkled through society as if that's gonna help. And it's just so shocking. Like, I don't know how to describe to you what it's like growing up where it's integrated into your culture because like we learn Maori language in school and
fuck yeah,
like all these things about their culture and the way they enjoy life and food and respect their country and the other people. And like in primary school you go and stay on a marae, which is like their traditional meeting grounds. So yeah, like I guess Australians have no idea what it's like to learn about these things or have it be so ingrained in your learning growing up and understanding of being in your country. And so that's still something that makes me really sad, or like I just don't understand fully. I know that the cultural context is so different. I won't get into
that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind at all, because it's like you say, like all the tokenistic stuff. It's like I agree with that, because it's like, you know, acknowledgement of country and like all these things. It's like, yeah, that's great, but like then I mean, when there was a vote to try just to have like an Aboriginal spokesperson in Parliament, just to be there, or like it wasn't even anything more than just to like be there, and everyone was just like, whoa. It's just like,
what makes me so mad about that one is the TikTok campaigns that were spreading misinformation, being like Aboriginal people don't want this. I was like, once again, it's like an example of what we were saying before about picking apart the tiny things that mean nothing. No change ends up ultimately happening because everyone's picking apart like the tiny.
Everyone's just going in on it. It's like I know everyone was like making the argument. It was weird because I was really skewed for this, because I remember I was in Canberra at the time, and Canberra's like very progressive because it's also so small that, like, you know, it was the only state that voted a unanimous, or not unanimous obviously, but like a majority yes, because it's like so small, it's so progressive. But I remember that blew my mind. But it was like so many people just making the argument of just like, oh well, it's not really gonna do much anyway, so therefore who cares. It's just like, what? It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? So it's like, it's such a roundabout way of thinking. It's like, oh, because it's not gonna do very much, therefore do nothing. What, like, do you hear yourself? It's like, do you understand what you're saying? It's so fucking dumb.
And
but
just it's scary how little people know about things when they make their decisions. I mean, I'm guilty of this too, of not researching properly, but yeah, I guess we can all do better at trying to be better informed.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, and you're a researcher too, so it's like you know things. You like
Doesn't mean I'm not
research.
lazy though.
And that's exactly. It's like, so think about like me, right? It's like, you know what I mean? I'm not even a researcher. It's like I go on Google Scholar like once a year to just prove a point. It's like other than that. But no, yeah, that's literally it. I have such a hot take. It's so I always say it's kind of funny. You know, okay, take it with a grain of salt. But
You're
I know
about
the
to
one
be
of the
cancelled.
I know, literally, yeah. I was just like, oh no, fuck it, who cares? But I've always said it's like I don't think that you should have a system where everyone has to vote, like in terms of like a democracy, because people are just gonna be like, what color do I like more, blue or red? And they'll just do that. So it's like you're forcing people to almost have like, it's like you should have to at least know a policy
Yeah.
for the party
Yeah.
that you're voting for. And I think that there's a real kind of like disconnect between actually trying to understand what you're being a part of and just being like, I guess I don't want to fine, I'll just vote.
Yeah. I think Australia, I could be wrong, I definitely have not researched this, but I think Australia is one of the fewer countries that has a mandatory voting system.
Yeah, it's not common at all.
And that is kind of strange. Yeah, I hadn't thought that much about it before. But yeah, I guess it means you're forcing a lot of uninformed people to just make any kind of decision, and they might
Yeah, and then
have
it
no
becomes
idea what
like,
they're actually voting for.
yeah, it just becomes just like, I guess, like, I don't know, my parents voted for blue, so I go blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's really interesting as well what you talk about how you talk about growing up in New Zealand and being very actively integrated into the Maori traditional, life and culture. Because I know growing up in Australia, it was like you learn a little bit about Aboriginal culture, but for the most part, it's like history equals colonization. Like that's just kind of like what you learn. Like that's just what happened. I don't know. It's like, that's just what people learn. And then 1901 and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So what was that? What was the experience like for you growing up and really integrating into the culture, especially like you said, how a lot of people in your school were immigrants and family of immigrants. What was that like? What was that like for you, kind of growing up just like in that culture? How did it feel to kind of be integrated into the culture like that?
Yeah, okay. I have to reflect a bit because it feels so normal and you just assume everyone's had that experience, but I guess to you guys it's not. Okay, so
I think there's so much. I think there's so much to be said about the fact that you have to really think about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's like every Kiwi kid has this experience. I think also learning Maori language just became compulsory a few years ago or recently. I don't know if the government now has rolled that back because they would. But yeah, I guess what it's like is it becomes part of your identity as a Kiwi. And so, yes, you're from New Zealand, but you're just as much from Aotearoa as you are from New Zealand. And the street names, the news presenters on TV opening or integrating Maori language into their presentations, and the songs you sing. I was in Kapahaka as well, which is like a traditional Maori song and dance performance that every school has a group of, and like you have competitions for that, and it's just in every way possible. It's part of your school experience, it's part of what you see on TV, on radio, and it's in our major sports that we see growing up. So obviously I'm a huge All Blacks fan.
Yeah, of course.
They do the haka, and it just becomes such an ingrained part of who you are. Like, for example, when Ned Sky did the haka, and I don't know, like these things are so ingrained, and the world knows them, that they associate these things with us. It's just part of Kiwi culture and Kiwi identity.
Yeah.
So I guess it just becomes part of your nationhood, and also what else? I guess that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, and I know, and I think that, like, I mean, back to what we were saying before as well about the kind of like the clickiness of, I mean, Sydney, Australia in general. It's like there is no identity. It's like I wonder how having that experience growing up plays a part in your development socially and to give you an identity, because like identity is a part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like you need to have an identity, otherwise you're just going to crumble as a human. Like you need that. So what was, I suppose it's quite an abstract question, except what was I love for you to speak about the community growing up in New Zealand and whether you felt, did you feel like how'd you feel like the community was? Because I'm trying to I really want to try like almost compare between how growing up in a very cliquey society like I did in Sydney without real identity, and like because like I guess I could feel it from quite early on that Sydney was quite cliquey, and even growing up in school it's like very very group based, and you had very clear cuts of like this person's that group, like their friends, this is this you know, that person's friends with them, you're talking with them, but all that kind of stuff, right? Did you see a lot of that growing up?
I think you see a little bit of it. Like, there's definitely factions within school of like friend groups and
naturally, yeah. It's quite an abstract question, so I kind of like.
Yeah, once again, it's like it's hard to reflect on what you think is so normal, but isn't normal to other people. But I don't know if it, like when I think about the basic community things, like walking past someone on a bushwalk track, you say hi, like. That happens in Australia too. People are just as friendly to strangers. And
what about in terms of, were there many like community-based institutions, like in terms of maybe like youth groups, or I mean I know one of the only ones in Sydney is that they have like little YMCAs where you can play, you know, soccer or like tennis or something like that.
I don't think there's anything that different in New Zealand. Like we don't have groups like that are so different from Sydney.
I suppose it would all be kind of like the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the main difference is just like the very chill nature of people, and I think Sydney people can be quite. I don't want to offend anyone.
Go, let it rip. I've already called everyone clickies.
They're quite concerned with appearance and how they are appearing to others, how they appear on social media, and like upholding an idea of who they think they are or who they think they should be based on society around them. And in New Zealand, there's a bit less of that. I mean, it does happen for sure at any like
it's
young
like the
people.
human level, right? It's like it happens to everyone.
Yeah, but I think it's just when you're speaking to someone, you feel it less palpably than you do with when you're speaking to a Sydney person. You're like, this person. Like I don't know how to describe, but there's just this vibe.
Yes, I'm there. It's almost like I think a good way to describe it is, I mean, I'm off the back of I had a school reunion the other day, and so it's like that's like
that would be the perfect
that's like
context
peak,
for
right?
that.
And I think that like a classic kind of example of that is just like, I don't believe that I should talk to you because I don't believe that like my social appearance, I don't believe my social character should. Do you know what I mean? Because like you have like that like character, that appearance, like who are you trying to be? Who are you trying to portray? You know, and it's just like oh, I don't want to talk to you, but you know they actually might just be a fucking good person. And then it's like, oh no, I want to be friends with you, but then they might just be a fucking asshole. But it's like the person that I'm trying to like convey.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting thing.
I know exactly what you mean.
100%, and this is like my fucking bread and butter because I studied like criminology, sociology for a couple of years.
Oh wow.
So I fucking love this about like the character and like who's talking or what and like what people think they're portrayed as. Oh, I fucking love it. I fucking
Oh,
love it.
that's so sick. I did a Socio 101 course and then I did a Criminology 101 course, and they were some of my favourite units. So the fact that you got to study that for your whole degree, I'm really jealous.
Uh-huh. I bailed out. I didn't make it all the way through.
But at least you still like
I tried.
have a basic understanding of why things are the way they are, which is really interesting. And some people go their whole lives never learning that, and it's quite like helps you better understand people and better like be compassionate towards others too.
Yeah, and to
instead of
understand
just assuming things.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and even just like understand yourself and how you act within the
exactly.
circumstances. Because I mean, like, I have no shame in saying that I have heaps of insecurities about the way I'm portrayed.
Yeah.
Like, who fucking doesn't, right? It's like I always get insecure about like what people think all the time. It's like so natural. But then if you can kind of be aware of understanding that you're just getting sucked into this social fucking bullshit of just humanity and like society and civilization, it's like all this fucking bullshit, then just makes it so much more easy, and it doesn't have to be such a problem. That's really interesting that you studied sociology and like criminology for a bit. So what did you study in uni?
I did law and international relations.
Oh, nice. How'd you find that?
I mean, I knew I never wanted to be a lawyer. I was just doing law because it would boost like my arts degree, and I knew I wanted to go into policy, or anything like advocacy, human rights type stuff. You would need a good understanding of the current system as it is, which is law.
Yeah, of course. That's never going to hurt if you're trying to legally implement policies and things like that. Wow, yeah, that's fucking fascinating. I think I did not think that we were going to go so far into this. This is fucking,
I know,
this is great. Yeah, no.
Talked about DJ.
Oh yeah. I don't even know what this podcast is anymore. But no, I find that so fucking interesting. I'm glad that I can kind of connect with you on that level too, because it's like that my brain fucking clicks like that. I love it. And I love that thing. And I find your experience so interesting between, you know, coming from New Zealand, where you do have a very integrated society, and the community based, like identity based, like it's so important. It's so fucking important to coming to Australia. It's fucking crazy. So did you come for uni, I'm assuming?
Yeah, for uni.
Wow, nice. So now you jump ship from UCID and went to UTS. Did research there now. Like, fuck those guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so my job is hosted at UTS, so yeah, I mean, I don't have that much loyalty to UCID.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
Actually, while I was studying at UCID, I would come to the UTS campus to do work just because I prefer their campus. It's just so much nicer, and there's so many more spots and like floor-to-ceiling windows with lots of natural light.
Yeah.
UCID's kind of like a dungeon. All the study spaces are underground, and
I feel like there's like a time and place for that.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you want to just not be able to see the sun, but then sometimes it's like I need to just see anything.
Yeah.
I need to see something move. I need to see life.
I'm always the second. I always need to be in the natural light.
Yeah, I think that's probably the healthiest. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm the healthiest person to exist. Wow, yeah. All right, I'm gonna take another left turn, because there's another thing that I really wanted to talk about with you that I identify with is all that melodic dubstep.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm gonna bring it back to music, and I just want to ask, like, fuck, that's sick. Because I've seen you do sets of melodic dubstep. You've done bass house sets. What would be your favorite genre to play out live?
That's so tough. I think my taste is constantly evolving, and so I was super into D&B, and then I was super into dubstep, and I still love both. And I really love trap right now too, like everyone else, getting back on the trap train. Or I even played trap in my Your Shot set last year, but I didn't even know I was playing trap until like I became a DJ and started better understanding what genres even were. It's weird putting labels on something you just know you like.
It's confusing.
Yeah, but so I don't even know what I'd say is my favorite genre right now. I just like so many different things. I was playing like Jersey in a set, but like I didn't even know I was playing Jersey as well. Like, I just hear something and I like it and I want to play it live. But bass house is always really fun live. Dubstep is fun too. I'm a bit less into D&B now. But yeah, trap, future bass, anything heavy bass. I mean, I honestly would play anything live, and I think some of the artists, some of the producers I really respect are artists who just, like, their taste is constantly evolving and every track they put out is kind of a different genre, different tempo, different BPM, like you can tell, for example, like Eliminate, he has D&B tracks, he has dubstep tracks, he has every genre, like you can kind of just tell he loves everything, and if I was ever to produce, I would probably do it in that way and not limit myself to one genre, because who knows if I'll love bass house 3 years from now. I probably will, but
exactly.
You just never know, like we're all constantly changing, and
fuck yeah, that's fucking sick. I fucking love that. Who would be, just say, your top 3 favorite artists right now? With your
those are
broad
constantly
strokes.
changing too. But I was thinking about this because I was like, oh, he's definitely gonna ask this,
100%.
and I'm gonna go blank. I think I wrote down like 9 to 10 in my notes app. But I really like Lit Lords.
I've never heard them.
Oh, okay. They play a lot of trap, heavy trap, and mainly heavy trap, but yeah, some dubstep, I think.
I'm not too well versed in the heavy trap. I just listen to it out. Okay. I'm just like, oh, fuck, Jesus Christ.
Also, Control Freak. He's also a trap artist, I think. He's puts out some really unique stuff. Who else? I'm like wondering if I should get my phone out and consult the 9 to 10.
No, I know. I mean, like, I think one person I fucking love beyond belief. Do you like Blank?
Oh yeah. He just played here.
No, dude. Fucking bring back Blank. He's doing too much D&B.
I know.
Bring me some dubstep, because Blank, he was the first, because I moved to Canberra in 2021. Blank always has this special place in my heart. I fucking love Blank.
Yeah.
And I saw him play at the start of 2021, and this was after 2020 where there was no clubs, nothing. I'd never seen bass music out live. I think I saw like once at Laundry, but like I got kicked out, and it was a fucking mess. Anyway, I'd never seen like actual bass music out, and then I saw Blank, right? I was high on serotonin, but like he played, I remember his opener was like a Seven Lions, like,
oh my god,
fucking
beautiful,
huge, like I forgot what the label is, but big melodic dubstep tune, and I was just like,
yeah, he used to be on the melodic dubstep. That's how he was that's how I associated him with that.
Yeah,
but he hasn't put out anything like that in a long time.
Yeah, it's all D&B. It's just the D&B train. Everyone's on the D&B train now.
It's weird watching Sydney go through that when you've already seen it happen in a different context. Like I watched it happen in New Zealand, and then it happened a few years later here.
That's so funny. That's so true. It's like almost like a time delay of you seeing the trend blow up. It's just so right. It's almost like Australia was just like, it's like starts in the UK, goes to New Zealand first, then Australia's like, oh fuck, what's going on over there? And then all of a sudden
it takes you guys a while.
Yeah, which is like, hang on, something's different. Apparently we're not good at change. But
it's just bad timing because I missed like the whole Chinese Laundry, like huge bass era pre D&B, and so by the time I got here it was already finished, and now I just am seeing a repeat, and so and then dubstep is so tiny, and
I know dubstep's getting there though, little bits.
I hope so.
Little bits by little bits. What would you say are some of your favorite artists that you've ever wanted to see? What would be like a top 3 list of that? Doesn't have to be 3.
Okay, I mean, I did this set mix for Be Kind, which is like a female DJ initiative where they want like they want female DJs, or they give opportunity to female DJs to put together a mix that features female producers. And through doing that, I discovered Rossi, Godlands, Genie, and obviously there's like Alice in Wonderland as well. And I was like, I can't believe there are so many like Australian producers that no longer play in their own home country and are like huge sensations overseas. Yeah. And they're doing amazing things for the bass scene. And I would love to see them here. Yeah. Because I saw Alison when she came this year, and that was an incredible set. She was playing trap before trap had started. Well, once trap was like already on the rise, but it was like one of the first times I'd seen it live. Yeah. Again, since it's come back, and that was amazing. And so I would love to see those artists. Who else? I mean, I would love to see. I'm so excited to see Knock 2 next year. Yeah. I also really want to see Jules live. I think he does some really cool blends of like dubstep and D&B, like just playing with all the different genres. He's another one of those artists who'll just do whatever sounds cool to him. Yeah, and just like be really like just uniquely like, I don't know what that is, but I fucking love it. Yeah, that's so fucking sick. Yeah, no, I really love like the way that your style kind of translates to like the artists that you listen to and what you like, because it's like it is just so all over the place. I'm so different, right? It's just so everywhere. It's so fucking good. Yeah, like I don't want to limit myself to being known as a dubstep DJ or a bass house DJ, because I don't know. I don't want to be trapped in an idea of that's what you should only be hired for. Like, otherwise, if you're not inspired and excited by your own sets, like I love that each new set is an opportunity to find a new subgenre to explore or go deeper into a genre you already liked. Like, for pop-up in a few weeks, I'm doing dubstep, and so this is just another opportunity to find really niche, cool dubstep songs that just get me excited and make me want to hear it on a club sound system, and hopefully that makes other people want to hear it too. Yeah, so I feel like if you're not enjoying your own set, how do you expect other people to?
100%, 100%. If you're not having fun up there, it's just like, how do you think people are going to be having fun in the mosh, right? Yeah, it's like you have to. How are you feeling about the pop-up set? Because that set's gonna be huge. I think this will probably be out. This will be out by the time.
Yeah, I'm nervous because everyone's just watching you mix, like, and they're all DJs as well. They're not just like normies. They're all good. They'll know exactly what you're doing and see all your bad habits. Like,
it's like, oh fuck.
You're just like exposing yourself. And then you're being filmed, so you have to act like. You know your shit.
Of course.
It's that character persona again has got to be turned on for the camera.
Yeah, exactly. It's just be confident, just breathe, and just fucking pretend like you know what you're doing. Do you have an idea of what you're kind of like preparing for that? Because by the time this comes out, it will be done. So you've already fucking smashed it. You've already crushed it. What are you kind of expecting? Like, what's your genre right now that you're kind of like getting into exploring or like figuring out?
I've been told to do dubstep, so I'll be doing dubstep, but I might sprinkle a few heavy trap songs in there. Nice. I have a playlist so far, so I kind of have a rough idea. We'll see. This is such early days, like I changed my mind 50 times.
Yeah, of course.
So, I need to get onto that and whittle it down to, the final thing.
Yeah, nice. That's fucking sick. Yeah, I fucking love that so much. So, I'll ask one more question before we wrap it up, but I'm curious as to, where did your DJ name come from?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I need to know.
This does come up a lot. I think my name is not immediately obvious to people, and I get it. I think... Okay, so let me think back to in the early weeks of the Your Shot competition where everyone's like, fuck, I gotta come up with a name. Yeah. I think I even asked ChatGPT for some help. I was like... Help me come up with DJ names. These are some things about me that might help you. And oh god, those names were truly awful. I mean, this is early 2020 Oh yeah, I mean like mid 2024, right? So I
Yeah,
don't know. The
yeah.
ChatGPT wasn't as advanced as it is now, and
Yeah.
like you should have seen some of those names. It was like it was so bad, and I was like, okay, I really need help. I think I was up late one night with my housemate, and I was saying, okay, you got to help me with this. Like, I need another brain in this brainstorm.
Yeah.
And so I just started listing things about me to get both our juices flowing.
Yeah, just something.
I was like, okay, I want it to be somewhat personal, like speak to something about me. And I was like listing things like, oh, the fact that you're half Taiwanese, half New Zealand, or like the fact that you grew up with a dual identity, or something that can touch to that, or like when you think about personal things, you think about, I don't know, ethnicity, your favorite foods, or music you're into. And so I looked up a lot of like names of current DJs that I like thought were cool and tried to get inspiration from that.
Yeah.
I overthink everything, so this is a very long process.
Oh fuck yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
I fully understand.
And so the names I liked of DJs were quite like short and punchy, but somewhat like different and personal.
Yeah.
And so my housemate was really helpful, sitting there with me thinking about this at like 2 a.m.
Yeah. Your
I think we were,
brain's
like,
been
lying
working
on the floor.
overtime for like 5 hours. You're just like, fuck.
And we had like a long notes app thing open of like different words
Notes
and
apps.
like just random like thesaurus words that sounded cool.
Yeah. The thesaurus never fails.
Yeah. How many DJ names have been created through the thesaurus?
Oh my god, and now ChatGPT as well.
On that note, everyone is writing their like DJ descriptions through ChatGPT. Like, have you seen it? Like all the Instagram
I've done that. Yeah, I've fucking done that.
It's just so funny.
It's so jokes.
Like you read another one like this person's take on.
No, you know what it is. You know what it is. It's the term sonic assault. Like fucking, I swear to God, because that happened to me. I was just like, I kind of started to notice. I was like, that sounds like such a textbook ChatGPT thing to have.
Yeah.
So fucking funny. But yeah.
Okay, where was I in the story?
So it's 2 a.m. You and your housemate
on the
there.
ground.
Fuck, on the ground too.
Yeah.
I love that detail.
And then we were saying, okay, we were listing things and we were like, okay, you have really big eyes, which, yeah, I have huge eyes. It's like an owl. Okay, that's maybe something to think about. And then we were saying, oh, like one of my key personality traits is I'm quite observant and somewhat intuitive. Like I can pick up on vibes and energy of people a little more so than average. And so, so those that started coming together with the eyes, like seeing things. And then I was thinking about, have you ever played the card game Werewolf or Mafia? Where, there's a seer card.
Yeah.
And so the seer card is, a seer is like a mystical mage, like who is able to have visions of the future or like pick up on more psychic elements. And so that card in those games is like, they can see the future, or they can see who the mafia or the werewolf is in that game. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, okay, this word seer actually has a long history of being like spiritual, and it kind of taps into the things we were talking about that we kind of see in me. And so I thought that was really cool, and I am quite into spirituality, so it just felt like it resonated, and it made sense that the eye would be like my logo, and that the two E's kind of look like eyes.
I see. Oh wow,
So,
that's a really really cool backstory for that. Damn, that's a really fucking cool story. Actually, I really fucked with that story. And it does really get me on like I feel like it's almost like a movie where you guys are sitting like lying on the ground, just like fuck, like going back and forth, like pacing, and then it's just like
right, and then you just land on something. You're like, oh yeah, I actually resonate with that. And most people it won't mean anything to them. I think most DJ names won't mean things to the outside world, but if you know maybe it means something to you, then that's all you need. It doesn't matter what other people think.
Yeah, of course. Wow, that was a great fucking story to end on as well. That was perfect. I wasn't expecting. That was a really fucking cool story. But thank you so much for fucking coming on though. Like this
was really fun. I feel like I get to keep chatting for
No,
We could go
100%.
into more
Yeah, no,
rabbit
I got,
holes
yeah,
about
no,
AI and
this would be a fucking like a 3-hour podcast otherwise.
the future of cultural
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah,
The future of
exactly.
AI.
Yeah, no, yeah, we covered fucking all sorts. But no, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, thank you very much. I really
This is really
appreciate
fun,
that.
Yeah. And I've really enjoyed listening to all the other podcasts as well, I think.
Oh, thank you.
I think you and Frezzy were saying this at the end of your podcast with him, that like you meet all these people in the scene and what brings you together is the music, and that's awesome and it's amazing, but you don't know anything else about these people and their day-to-day lives.
DJ.
Yeah, and it's really cool to have this like 1 hour insight into them as people.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much about people I've seen multiple times in the scene just by listening to this. So it's really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that, because that's exactly like, I mean, I've said it plenty of times already, but it's like, I say it again, it's like, that's why I really like doing it, is because it's like, it's just a way you can just connect with someone and you instantly know that you have something in common, which is like the basic foundation of why I like the community.
Yeah.
And then you can actually just like have a conversation with people, and like everyone's just got so much fucking in their brain, right? It's just like everyone's just this untapped fucking well of like opinions and this and that, and like every person is like its own little case study of humanity. And I love it. I guess I'm saying like a sociology nerd again. it's like but I really love it. So I really appreciate you saying that, because I really appreciate the fact that you actually took the time to listen and come on. But yeah, thank you. Anyway.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been really cool.
No, of course. I guess see you next time.